Hello everyone, this is Griffin G-Dog, back again for Fusion World Friday. I had a great weekend last weekend. I went to a store championship in New Jersey. Shout out to Top Deck Games for hosting a wonderful event, and I placed second in that event with this deck right here. Let me show you what's up. Alright, top 8 for the store tournaments gives you this cell card. This is the cell that when attacking, you KO at 10k. Activate main, you can place one of your own androids into the drop and minus 2 things by 20. Cell decks aren't really playing this at more than 1, if at all, but it's very pretty. If this were a bigger regional, that would be for top 64. Top 4 at the store championship gives you a Son Goku Mini Daima. This is permanent if your leader is awakened. This card gets plus 10,000 power. On play, add 1 card from your life to your hand. That is mandatory. This card is played in almost every red deck. This is a 10k combo. It is a 30k swinger for 2. A great card, and another great cereal to add to my collection. 468. Let's get a zoom in on that number. Yeah, 468. If this were a bigger regional, that would be equivalent of the top 32 card. And then for top 2 at the store championship, we have the 6-cost Gogeta from set 5. This is permanent. Your opponent's cards can't be switched to active mode by skills. On play, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's battle area and place it into its owner's drop. Then if you do not have the energy marker, place the energy marker. This is the big boss bad boy for black decks at the moment. This card is beautiful. If this were a bigger regional, this would be the top 16 card, and basically your proof that you are going to Nats. Now, I already had my invite from Texas earlier this year, so shout out to First and Fourth for getting their invites at this event. Alright, let's pick these guys up and we'll talk about the deck that I brought. Alright, now if anyone's been looking at my Instagram posts, probably not. I imagine there's not a lot of cross traffic there just yet, but I'll add a link in the description or something maybe if you want to give me a follow. I post the occasional Fusion World content. I want to post the occasional bit of music content on there as well, usually just whenever I top or do well at a tournament. I'll put something up there. But I've been playing a lot of Piccolo Superhero recently, and this deck is really strong and really fun for my particular sort of control style gameplay. On the front side, this is your typical leader, awaken at 4, draw. On the back side, you are 20,000 power. When attacking, draw 1 card. Auto, when an opponent's card attacks, you may choose 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or more and superhero in the card's name in your battle area. If you do, switch the attack target to the chosen card. Then this skill can't be activated for the turn. This acts as a pseudo blocker as long as you have another 3-cost superhero card on the battlefield. This makes this deck incredibly tanky and incredibly resilient in the late game. Alright, let's get into the rest of the deck. First up, we have 4-pan superhero on play. Look at the top 3 cards and grab any card with superhero in its card name. This gets your super combos, this gets your boss monsters. This gets you most of the cards in this deck. It is a great searcher, and it's my only really searcher / cantrip in the deck. But there's a reason. Next up, we have 1-drop Krillin. On play, if your leader has superhero in its card name, and you have 6 or more energy, choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 5 or less in your opponent's battle area, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is your answer to aggro decks, or your answer to anything 5 or less that is a problem, but you can't remove immediately. This is great for 5-cost Cell if you can't get it off the board. This is great into Sin Shenron if you can't get the Omegas off the board. This is just a very versatile card, and it's loopable with Hercule, which we'll talk about in a minute. We are running 1 Chilai BR. Permanent, your battle cards with a cost of 7 or more in your battle area can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. On play, add up to 1 card from life to hand. This is an emergency self-awakener if your opponent is super stalling you. And secondly, this protects your big Beast Gohans, which is good because they have no innate protection themselves. So it's just sort of a tech piece, mostly for the mirror. The Bastard Man himself, Hercule. On play, if you have 6 or more energy, add up to 2 cards at the cost of 1 or less and Earthling and their special traits from your drop to your hand. We are running a full 4 of this card. This gets your Pans and your Krillins in any combination. And I've found in testing that you don't really need anything more than these two. So the Hercule just, the Pan grabs most of your deck. The Krillin interacts with your opponent. Those are really the only 2 things you need. 4 of. It's a great card. Next up, we have Gamma 1 Superhero. On play, discard a card with Superhero in its card name from your hand. If your leader has Superhero in its card name, draw 2 cards. This lets you filter through your deck without risking bottom decking anything important. This is a fabulous turn 2 play. It is probably the best turn 2 play in the deck into almost everything. It's 15, so it's much harder to remove for sell on turn 2, and you're just drawing some extra cards. Plus, you need to have a few bigger superhero cards in your drop for one of your bigger cards later in the list, so this helps you get that there. We have 4 of Android 16 from set 1. On play, draw 1 card, then discard 1 card from your hand. When attacking, if you have 6 or more energy, draw 1 card. This is how you counter aggro decks. This is how you apply pressure at any step of the game, mostly in the mid to late game, since you have the 6 energy limit on this card. It also puts cards back in your hand. You filter your hand a little bit, put things in the drop that you need in the drop, draw some more cards. This card's fantastic. 4 of. It's so important to be swinging. All right, into the 3 costs. We have Gamma 2 Superhero. Permanent, if you have 6 or more energy, this card in the battle area gets plus 15,000 power. End of your turn, KO this battle card. And then if your leader has Superhero in its card name, add the top card of your deck to your energy in rest mode. So this is your in-archetype turn 3 ramp. You get this with your Pan. You can discard it later on with the Gamma if you already have it in hand. This is sort of a once-a-game card, but you do not want to miss that turn 3 ramp to set you up for later, so you have to run 4. I am running 3 of this Son Gohan Superhero. It is a blocker and then permanent opponent's turn. If your leader has Superhero and you have 6 or more energy, this card gets plus 10,000 power. So this is just a big blocker for your opponent to answer. This is the least played card in my deck, but really it acts as more of another target for having 3 or more in the drop for my later ramp or for my Gamma. It works as a charge, and later on, it's a big blocker that your opponent has to deal with. Shout out to Floki. This is the Floki Spice. Son Gohan Superhero. This is the big ramp of this deck on your turn 4. On play, if your leader has Superhero in its card names, add up to 2 cards with cost 3 or more and Superhero in their card names from your drop to your energy and rest mode. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying that you need to put your bigger superhero cards into the drop. So your best curve with this deck to lead up to your big boss monster. 1 drop, play Pan. Turn 2, play Gamma. Discard something big, like this Gohan, or anything else that cost 3 or more. Turn 3, you play the Gamma. And then you'll either want to combo one thing from hand or discard another thing via some manner, probably just by comboing aggressively or defensively, probably defensively because you don't want to awaken too early with this deck. Gamma puts itself in the drop, so that way, when you go to play your Gohan on turn 4, you have 2 superheroes in your drop that cost 3 or more, and you ramp up. So you're going from 1 to 2, 3, you go to 4 by the end of your turn 3. On your turn 4, you charge to 5. This puts you at 7, and then that sets you up for the big beast Gohan later. Onto the 5 costs, we have 5 Gamma 1, Gamma 2 superhero. On play, choose up to 1 battle card with a cost of 3 or less in your opponent's battle area, and KO it. Then, your leader with superhero in its card name gets plus 5,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this lets your leader be even tankier. You get all of the benefits of a 25k leader and also still draw. You can play this card usually after your Beast Gohan, or as just an early, like, oh, I don't have a Beast in hand, but I have 5 energy, blow up something, make my leader bigger, especially if your opponent's stalling you. You can then swing for 20 without having to be at 4 life. 4 of, since it is a 10k, and you can discard it to any effects, this is often charged with the Gohan early. The next 5 cost is the Piccolo superhero, 35k. It is a blocker, and then on play, if your leader has superhero in its card name, until the end of your opponent's next turn, this card can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills, and it gets plus 10,000 power. The turn you drop this down, it is a 45,000 power blocker. So this, say everything else on your board gets removed, you still get to use your leader skill and block with this card. This is a 2-for-1, and it can't get removed. You're only going to play 1 or 2 of these during the game. I'm only running 3 of this since it is 0 combo. The next big card of the deck is this Son Gohan superhero. It's a 7 cost 40k, 10k combo. On play, if your leader has superhero in its card name, choose 2 battle cards with a cost of 4 or less in your opponent's battle area, and KO them. This is your going second boss monster. So if you are going second, your turn 2, you have the marker for Gamma. The next turn, you have 4 for Gohan. That'll put you at 7 energy on your turn 4, which then you play this to kill 2 of their things. Or if you're in a very aggro matchup, this kills 2 of their bodies, because an aggro game isn't going to have a lot of things that cost more than 4. And this also acts as another thing that you can charge and combo away for your Gohan charge. 10k combo means it never feels bad just to combo it away. You don't play this card very often, that's why it's only at 3. You'll often, what my usual turn for is, instead of playing this, well, matchup dependent, of course, instead of playing this, since I now have 6 more energy, I'll start playing my 18s and my Hercules and just put more cards in my hand. I have a 1 of the Namek Goku SCR. This is a 45k double strike, permanent if your life is at 2 or less. This card costs 4 less from hand. So this is a 3 cost double striker in the very late game. This is how you come back and win, or you can take those hits since you know that you can then play this and go for the win. One more big boss monster before we talk about the beast is 9-drop Broly SCR. It is a double striker, 55k for 9 on play. Switch this card to active mode, and then add the top card of your deck to your life. Choose all battle cards with the cost of 2 or more in all battle areas and KO them. So this is your board wipe. This is the turn after you beast, so you're facing an aggro deck like Goma. This is your big man. This gets rid of everything. This is the big boss man of the deck, Beast Gohan superhero. It doesn't say beast, but this is Gohan's beast transformation from the superhero movie. Fun fact about myself, that was the first thing Dragon Ball I ever watched. This is an 8 cost, 50k, 5k combo. On play, place 5 of your energy into their owner's drop. Choose 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, place it into its owner's drop. Then add 5 energy, or add 5 cards with cost 3 or more from your drop to your energy in active mode. So this is basically a 3 cost 50k on the turn you play it, because you get that 5 energy back. This is what I was talking about earlier with the Gamma or the Piccolo. They immediately follow up the Beast Gohan and give you insane value. Now, I was running for Beast Gohan. Shout out to Michael Sean for letting me borrow the 4th. This is a stand-in for locals. But 4 Beast Gohan, you need 4. And I was running 4. And of no note, 4 Son Gohan super combos. You need 4. It's searchable with the pan. Nothing special. So, with this deck, the reason I'm running the list as is, I decided no extras because I figure, oh, if Boo's going to be running around, there's not really a point in leaving up energy. I'll just play cantrips and then I can combo them aggressively to try and take Boo out before they take me out. I didn't run into a Boo, so it wasn't an issue, but I still like the way the deck functioned because with the Hercule and the Pans, you can still be pretty efficient by using all of your energy every turn. And it also comes to counting your energy before you start the turn. It's like, okay, I'm going to have 6 energy up after the Beast Gohan. What am I doing with that? Do I need to charge past that 5 that you'll get back from the Beast? Because once you hit turn 5 and you have 8 energy, you want to slap Beast every turn and swing it at face. Or swing it at board. If they don't have a way to remove Beast Gohan, it's great board clear too, because they're not going to combo out of 50. So with this deck, I think a couple things I might change is I want a second Chilai, because while one is good, one is very susceptible to being bottom decked by a Pan search, because I am searching constantly with Pan. That's my usual, just like use all my energy, play Pan. I started this game with blue, so that might be why. So having a second Chilai means it won't get sent to the bottom. I had it in the matchup that I needed it. It was the mirror match. However, they had 2 Chilais, so we had to deal with that going on. And maybe a second Broly, just to have that second big board wipe that I might need. And the same reasoning of it might get charged, it might get sent to the bottom, that sort of thing. I think for those, I might take out 1 or 2 of these. I might take out Namek SCR, it never comes up. Maybe 1 less 18, just because it's not an archetype, and I 4 is enough. 3 is probably fine with the amount of cards that I'm drawing. An ad might be 1-drop Kami for the mirror match to get rid of the Chilais before you beast. You can get rid of theirs. You can get rid of their Chilais, and it's just a good card. But, there's more testing to be done. My matchups for the day were very samey, but it was a good matchup for me. So, I can't say that it was entirely skill that got me to the top. It was partly luck. I ran into Cell, the mirror match, and then the finals was Cell again. I found that into Cell, they really just don't have an answer for Beast Gohan, other than going fast enough that by the time you play this, you're already at Awakened Life, and then they keep swinging on your Awakened side, and you keep losing cards. If they can swing more times than you can redirect or block, then they have a good shot of making it, especially if they do it in the early game. Also, Cell Jr. is nuts, because they swing with that, combo card from hand, they're sending 25. It's a lot of pressure. That's how my opponent, the guy that won, got me in that last round, was he had played 3 Cell Juniors, did some other swings, so I thought, oh, okay, he's done now, plays the final Cell Junior from hand. He kind of baited me. He was like, okay, I'm out of swings, or it seemed like he was out of swings. Then he plays the last Cell Junior. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, you have it, man. You have the extra swing. So that's sort of what happened there. In the mirror match, it's sort of a weird back and forth of will they, won't they with the first Beast Gohan. It turns into, if you play the first Beast Gohan, you got to follow it up with Chilai so that they can't just delete yours. The Broly throws things into the mix, like maybe they have 2 beasts on board, you Broly, get that 2 for 1, because there's no way to get it back from the drop. So once you're out of Beast Gohans, then there's not much you can do other than try to just swing the other big guys a bunch. But if the game's going that long, you might be out of deck, because I was drawing a lot of cards at this thing. So yeah, that's how my weekend went with this Store Champs. I'm glad I finally got my second top at a major tournament. I wanted to prove that to myself that I could, make sure that Dallas wasn't a fluke or anything. So now that I have my second big, quote unquote top 16 card with the Gogeta and my Vegito from Dallas, I feel more comfortable going into Nats. I feel like I deserve my slot now, instead of like, I just got here out of luck. But I've been rocking it at locals. This deck's been doing me well. I won Ultimate Battle with it. I almost won Ultimate Battle again, but I got Broly'd. It happens. And it was very close. It was literally by 5k. So yeah, I guess I'll try to say the like, comment, and subscribe thing. I want to, try and be a sort of public figure in the Fusion World community. Check out the Swing No Combos podcast. Shout out to those guys, Floki, Hector, Michael Sean, all them. Aside from the podcast, shout out to Kev for actually convincing me to play this deck over the weekend. I was probably going to take Vegeta, but he's like, nah, take Piccolo, you're rocking with it. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And you know what? He was right. So, all right, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.